They say Washington, D.C. is a city of monuments. They're right. But not the ones they tell you about in the guidebooks. The real monuments are built on secrets, buried under layers of power and influence. And sometimes those secrets have a way of finding you. This city tried to break me. It tried to turn me into something I wasn't. It almost worked. This is my warning to those who come after. Don't underestimate the darkness. It's always watching, always waiting. My first few months were a whirlwind. Meetings, votes, fundraisers. The pace was relentless. I was one face among hundreds, trying to find my footing in the chaotic dance of legislation and compromise. But I was determined to learn the ropes, to earn the respect of my colleagues, even the ones whose smiles never quite reached their eyes. Then it happened. One late night, after a particularly grueling session, I found an unmarked envelope on my desk. Inside, a single photograph. It showed me in a compromising situation, a moment of weakness I thought was long forgotten. Panic seized me. How did they get this? My mind raced, my career, my reputation. It could all be over before it even began. A chill ran down my spine as I read the note attached to the photo. We can keep this quiet, but it'll cost you. That was my introduction to the real Washington, the one they don't teach you about in civics class. Fear is a powerful motivator. I spent the next few days in a state of numb terror. I couldn't eat. I could barely sleep. The image from the photograph was seared into my mind. Who were these people? What did they want from me? And how far would they go to get it? I confided in a senior congressman, a man I thought I could trust. His response sent a chill down my spine. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of pity and weary understanding. "This is how the game is played," he said, his voice low and grave. "You want to survive in this town? You have to be willing to get your hands dirty." His words hit me like a punch to the gut. Was this my future? To compromise my morals, my beliefs, just to stay afloat in this cesspool of corruption? I felt a surge of defiance. I refused to believe it had to be this way. But as the days turned into weeks, the weight of their threat pressed down on me, suffocating me. I was trapped. The price they demanded was steep, my vote on a crucial upcoming bill. A bill I vehemently opposed, one that went against everything I believed in. It was a choice between my principles and my career, between standing up for what I believed in and becoming another cog in the corrupt machine I'd sworn to fight against. Days turned into sleepless nights. The faces of the people I'd promised to represent swam before my eyes. Could I betray their trust? Could I live with myself if I gave in to these shadowy figures? But the alternative, the thought of that photo being leaked, my reputation in ruins, was too much to bear. In the end, I made a deal with the devil. I cast my vote, my stomach churning with each step I took towards the ballot box. It felt like a betrayal of myself, of my constituents, of everything I held dear. But in that moment, it felt like the only way out. The bill passed. My career remained intact. But the victory felt hollow. I'd crossed a line, and there was no going back. The guilt gnawed at me, a constant reminder of the price I'd paid for my silence. The people I'd vowed to serve, the ideals I'd held so dear, they all seemed so distant now. I became a different kind of politician that day. Cautious, guarded, always aware of the unseen eyes watching my every move. I learned to play the game, to navigate the treacherous waters of Washington with a calculated pragmatism that would have horrified my younger self. But the memory of that photo, of the threat, of my own complicity, it never faded. It lingered in the shadows, a constant reminder of the darkness lurking beneath the surface of power. a darkness I was now a part of. Years have passed. I've risen through the ranks, becoming a powerful figure in the very system I once loathed. But the victory rings hollow. The idealism of my youth has been replaced by a weary cynicism. The world, I've learned, is not so easily divided into black and white. It's a tapestry of grays, woven with threads of compromise and deceit. I've achieved everything I ever wanted: power, influence, respect. But at what cost? The truth is, I sold my soul that night in my office, and it's a price I continue to pay every single day. This is the dirty secret of Washington, D.C. The line between right and wrong is never clear, and the cost of power is always higher than you think. This is my story, my confession, my warning.